Slayer Sworn Session 3. It had been no more than 2 days since Drak and Taco started their hunt, and they were already walking back to the village with the bounty. Taco was in a really good mood, already savoring the banquet that Drak had promised. Drak couldn't help but smile for his feline companion. However, he knew that the business with the monstrosities in the forest was not over. Someone had given Talus the emerald stones in a guise that these were lures that will bring the beast and kill it. Instead, he had become a pawn in someone else's game. Talus had been promised to become the hero who killed the beast, but instead, he had become the very beast he intended to kill to become a hero. And he had paid a high price for his delusions of grandeur. But Talus' death had not been in vain. He had implicated the major of the village on this gruesome scheme. Now it was up to Drak to find out how was the major involved, but more importantly, what had happened to Master Makari. Taco and Drak arrived to the center plaza shortly after noon. People noticed them walk by, and who wouldn't in a town where everybody knew everyone. As Drak and Taco walked towards the guards keep to claim his bounty, a young lady approached him. Fearfully of the Slayer, she feared the beast even more. In a very low voice, she asked,
"Is it done?"
Her eyes went to the bags that Taco and Drak were carrying.
"We slayed a horrid beast at the riverbank, just as the quest required,"
he said. The young lady grabbed Drak's hand and gave it a squeeze as she whispered,
"Thank you, Slayer. And thanks, Mass, for sending you to us."
Drak felt awkward, but he thought he had a good opportunity to try to discover what they knew about Master Makira's disappearance.
"No need. Just doing my job, so the good people of this town can sleep better,"
he said reassuringly.
"So it is over. We should celebrate,"
said the young lady as she led them towards a small homely inn.
"I'm Avella. Let's go to Mrs. Ruth's inn. You can still have your ale, and your little feline may enjoy a few tuna pies."
Taco's mouth was watering already at the thought of tuna pies. But now Drak was caught on his own half-truth. The mystery of the forest was not over, but since he had killed not one but 4 horrid beasts, that quest would be considered closed.
"Avella, I cannot thank you enough. However, I cannot fathom why the previous Slayer couldn't finish the job."
Drak prodded. However, Avella averted her eyes as she seemed ashamed of not being able or willing to talk about that subject. Drak didn't want to press the young lady, but tried to appeal to her good heart instead.
"Avella, the truth is that Makari, the previous Slayer, was my master. I need to know what happened to her,"
he said. Avella's eyes watered a bit.
The Slayer was a hard woman to read, but I saw she cared about us. The night she disappeared, I saw her leave the keep after talking to the Major.
"Thanks, Avella. Please take my companion to the inn. I still need to dispose of this evidence at the fort to claim the quest done."
Drak gave Taco a couple of gold coins to cover the cost and send them their merry way. As Taco and the young lady walked to the bakery, both gave him a quizzical look. He grinned in return. Drak entered the keep. No less than 4 guards were stationed there, 2 at the main door and 2 partially hidden behind windows upstairs. A single receptionist was sitting behind the bar who quickly stood up as he walked in.
I come to settle the quest of slaying the monstrosity of the riverbank.
Drak said loudly. The guards stiffened. Drak had piqued their curiosity as planned. He was about to open his bag when a familiar voice interrupted.
Oh, missed you.
Sir Slayer, please come to my office to conclude this matter.
Zhan, the mayor, showed through the door behind the counter. She dressed appropriately for her position, which made the dagger at her hip more noticeable. Drak nodded. He lifted his bag. One of the guards cleared his throat loudly, and once he got Drak's attention, he pointed at the swords crossing his back. Drak placed his swords on the counter. The guard nodded, pleased with his compliance. Then, he followed the mayor 2 flights of stairs. They entered a room on the 3rd floor, and Drak could quickly tell this wasn't her office. The room was furnished to host visitors, but there were no desk or ornaments that would fit the taste of a woman like Zhan. She showed a sofa near a low table to Drak, and after he sat, she did the same on a sofa at the opposite side.
So, can I see the evidence?
Well, now.
She requested.
You may need to throw away the table afterwards.
Drak warned.
Humor me.
Drak spilled the content of his bag on the table, and 2 decomposing skulls rolled out. Green blood spilled on the table as well, and wherever it touched, the wood would fizzle and started to rot.
What a mess.
Said the mayor in disdain.
The quest didn't call to eliminate 2 monstrosities.
Agreed. You pay for one.
Drak said. The mayor reached for a pouch at her side and took a small bag out. She handed the bag to Drak. It was the amount that they had agreed for the job. But Drak grabbed her hand and slowly stood up. Zhan was taken aback. Then he asked,
What did happen to the previous slayer?
Drak's tone was very close to threatening. The mayor's free hand rested on the dagger's pummel. Drak was unarmed, but not less dangerous. She hesitated for a moment, but finally broke the awkward silence.
She left us.
She slayed a monstrosity, but the quest is still open.
He guessed, knowing that Master Makari would have easily slayed 4 of these by herself.
She brought evidence of 3, but took no payment, so the quest remained open.
That actually checked out. For Makari, the quest would remain until all monstrosities were slayed, or the source found and eliminated.
Where did she go?
He asked.
I don't! She went to the forest, I guess.
Thank you.
Said Drak as he let go of Zhan's hand. He went downstairs, picked up his swords for the counter clerk, and left the keep. Drak left the keep with a few answers and a lot of questions. He arrived to the inn to find a very happy feline munching on a fish pie. He sat at the same table and a waitress quickly dropped a mug full of ale. She returned with a few other plates. At the end, she served a pumpkin pie. After the banquet was done, it was time to retire for the evening. Drak had thought of staying at the tavern, but dragging Taco across the plaza seemed unfair.
Do you have a room for us?
He asked the waitress as she lifted the plates for cleaning.
I think so, but let me check with the matron.
She said. After a while, they got a cozy room. He left Taco in the room and went downstairs to talk to the matron. He found the matron cleaning the bar and ready to retire for the night.
May I help you?
She asked at the sight of him. He sat at the bar.
No drinks, but may I ask a few questions?
I'm tired, Slayer. I must rise early to make a few pies and cakes and other goodies for breakfast.
Drak nodded and he retired for the evening. Early in the morning, he went downstairs to find the matron finishing up a few pies and other pastries. The waitress was back, hurrying from table to table. He took a stool at the bar.
My master was a hard-working woman like you. She disappeared after coming to this town.
He said, hoping that the matron caught his drift. The matron stopped her routine. Drak could tell that she was afraid that someone could overhear them. It seems that the mayor held a tight yet invisible grip on this village. She looks at Drak, whispered.
I crossed a few words with her. She had a good tooth for cakes, you know. Anyway, the last time I saw her in my inn, something was bothering her. She got drunk and blurted out something about a lair. That's all I know.
Of course, a monstrosity's lair, Drak realized. So, if he wanted to find Makari, he would have to find this lair. Unfortunately, the mayor knew who was he looking for. Certainly, she wouldn't miss the opportunity to make him disappear as well.
Thank you for watching and take care.